for Meet the Opposition.
Rev-Up St. Lucia is located at Unit 4, Gablewoods Mall, Sunny Acres, Gas-Free St. Lucia. Tune in on 95.9 FM or online at revupslu.com. Call the studio at 572-9710 or WhatsApp 287-0971. Call the office at 572-0383 or 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
It's now time for another episode of Meet the Opposition, hosted by Leonard Spider Montut. Mr. Montut, welcome once again. It's good to see you, as always.
Thank you, Andre. Good morning, and good morning to all of our listeners and viewers. Sorry. Whether in St. Lucia or in the diaspora. Sorry, let me just...
That's okay. I'll put off your microphone. Yes, so please stand by for Mr. Spider Montut as he's about to present Meet the Opposition. Okay, are you okay now?
Good to go.
All right.
Yes, and so let me just say, welcome and good morning to all our viewers and listeners, whether in St. Lucia, anywhere in the region or in the diaspora. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Opposition, the government in waiting. And so today, for today's program, I will be bringing on shortly two guests, two young people of the United Workers' Party. And among other things, they will be promoting their National United Workers' Party Youth Rally that will be taking place on Sunday. So they'll be telling us some more about it, what it is all about, and what it is we can expect. But in the meantime, I want to just touch on one or two subjects before I bring them on. And, of course, we're still in Creole Heritage Month, today being the 30th of October. And actually, maybe some of you don't realize it, we celebrated Junior Creole on Sunday, but Creole Day was actually day before yesterday. And so, we're still in the Creole Heritage celebration. So I will start off the program this morning with some Creole. I will see how well I can do, because I have gotten a little criticism from some of our listeners who say that I speak of the 7 SOS policies, the 7 policies to save our St. Lucia, enunciated by the United Workers' Party, but we only cater for English-speaking people, and that it affects the lives and will impact the lives of Creole-speaking people as well. So perhaps we should take a moment in the show to express what it is that is in store for those people in the Creole language. So I'll make an attempt, Andre, to do so.
Good luck.
So we have those 7 plans United Workers Party a mettre en place pour les gagner élection, pour faire la vie primaire by citoyen Saint-Lucie. Bon, moi pas qu'à aller en pièce particulière nord, moi qu'à faire assurer moi l'homme tous les 7 ba un petit explication à ce qui ça exactement yo kay faire. Premièrement, on va parler à ce c'est puits gaz en Saint-Lucie. Bon, nous savons United Workers Party a fait plainte côté qui puits gaz en cette liste trop haut parce que l'huile pas tellement cher ces jours ça là. Et si puis l'huile descend, nous supposé et ici en cette liste parce que si nous acheter plus bon marché, puis gaz en plan gas station là, supposé plus bon marché aussi. Bon, moi ça d'où la UWPT en pouvoir, la tenir les côté en beaucoup l'huile t'es appelé pour $150 US avec prix gaz de plus bas passé à Brézan. À Brézan, je ne sais pas combien prix a pour aujourd'hui, mais un des jours qui passaient, il était plus bas, passé $60. Avec, ou te kay quoi, si UWP tant était $150, t'es ça ni en bas $14, nous supposons qu'à payer moins passer $14 aujourd'hui pour gaz. Mais en temps, pendant les bas viennent par gaz arrivé $17.95. Avec à présent, comme on commence à pleurer avec l'élection qui a venu, yo ban un petit soulagement, yo mené $16 et $16. Mais nous qu'a dit et trop haut toujours parce que nous qu'a prendre l'avantage à sous Saint-Lucien parce que puis gaz là ja descend, nous supposons un gaz là plus bon marché. UWP qu'a promettre qu'il d'ailleurs descend, d'ailleurs entre en pouvoir, si puis gaz bas qu'on y à présent, yo qu'a mené puis à descendre pour $14 et moins. Deuxièmement c'est yo dit yo kay tirer 2.5 de 2.5% de levy gouvernement mette en les Saint-Lucie. Ou ka changer, gouvernement te venu avec un mensonge, yo menti ba ou, yo dou yo ka mette 2.5% de levy pour faire sécurité avec santé meilleure en pays. Quand nous tout savent, des plus mauvais bagages en pays, c'est sécurité avec santé. Parce que tous les années, nous avons un record neuf à ce combien de monde qui a mort, qui a tué en pays dans cette Lucie. L'année passée, nous tenions 77 avec tous les années depuis le parti en pouvoir avec Philippe JPS, ministre qui est responsable pour la sécurité. Tous les années, en dernier 4 années, nous sommes en haut 70 personnes qui sont morts en cette lycée. Ça, nous trouvons qu'il est trop haut et qu'un bagage pour fait à ça. Mais, yo qui prend l'argent à sous pour faire sa mère, ou ça, il vient plus mauvais, sinon il vient plus meilleur. Là, il vient pour santé, yo dit santé, c'est l'autre bagage, il prend l'argent pour. Association docteur et nurse et gens qui sont engagés en santé cette lycée dit comme ça situation santé cette lycée à présent c'est plus mauvais yo jamais ouais en l'histoire pays ça c'est mon qui travaille en business là yo qui dit ça ça veut dire l'argent ça yo dit regarde pour ces raisons ça nous pas qu'à réussir nous pas qu'à pour pièce bénéfice ça mais nous savons ça c'est un mensonge parce que plus tard yo vinn avec pour dire côté l'argent ça là c'était pour un loan sorti entre CDB et World Bank en loan yo te vle point yo te vle rendre l'argent pour ça faire assurer ça un loan ça avec yo te dit c'est un bon petit moment juste toujours nous ca payer toujours UWP a dit comme ça quand yo entré en pouvoir ça sans bagaille yo ka tirer dans les dos Saint-Lucie là yo fait ça prix marchandise et prix service qui descend en pays bagaille qui plus bon marché bon il aussi dit comme si vous regardez bill wasco water bill ou ka ouais côté ou ka payer 10% à sous bill pour dam dredging fee so ce qui m'a expliqué ça l'année John Compton dam dans Roseau avec ou savent après Thomas la dernière a préparé 17 en falay côté chaiter bagay comme ça entrer en dam nan avec plein dam nan ça veut dire dam nan ka tchebe moins d'eau à présent so yo ni pour nettoyer dam nan tirer toute terre qui a dedans avec yo besoin de l'argent pour faire ça c'est de mettre un petit 10% en chaque monde les va payer bill yo pour aller pour servir pour raison ça là mais ça UWP a dit c'est Roseau dam nan c'est pour monde qui en nord Saint-Lucie commencer en wet ko vana millet c'est place à monter pour gozile mais moun qui en sud là yo pas ka joindre de l'eau sortant dam là ka joindre l'eau l'autre côté so ça pas justice pour ces moun ça là ni pour payer pour un service yo pas ka joindre so nous ka tirer ça sur ces moun qui en bas là so plan ça c'est pour bénéfice gens qui en sud là notre plan yo ni c'est pour faire pour ou ka payer pour l'école en ça for Louis Community College yo ka tirer ça so tuition ça que tuition là ça c'est comme maman ni pour payer pour attendre l'école ça for Louis ça kay vini freeness yo pas kay ni pour payer pour ça so ça c'est un bagage qui bénéfice jeunes gens particulièrement qui voulaient aller ça for Louis Community College cinquièmement c'est gouvernement Flambeau a dit yo recogniser côté qui en temps qui passé c'était fig qui les mené pays et c'est pharma fig qui a sous do pharma fig nous bâti pays sur tout l'argent qui était entré a pas dit ça pharma fait pour yo c'est là gouvernement de gagne là pour faire chemin pour mettre like pour faire toute bagaille pour développer pays so ça veut dire c'est pharma fig là j'ai fait contribution yo pour développement pays et pour ça nous veut bailler une petite recognition et mutuer côté nous apprécier ça yo j'ai fait bail pays bon gars savent c'est moun ça là de travail bail koyo en chaide yo majorité di yo pas te capé ici so ça veut dire à présent à dans yo j'ai avancé en l'âge yo vieux tellement vieux comment dire pas vieux mais avancé en l'âge côté yo pas ça travail en les plantations yo encore pas ça planter figue encore et yo pas ni rien pour faire l'argent ce jour ça là gouvernement a dit yo kay remercier yo pas bayo en pension so tous les mois yo ka renati la vie pour prendre kakoyo c'est fama qui n'tan mort avant ça fait là yo ka dit yo ka bay famille yo en l'homme somme pour aider yo pour remercier yo et montrer appréciation pour ça yo ja fait bay pays. So ça sans l'autre c'est un pension bay femme Afrique. Bon, yo aussi dit comme ça content passé yo ka garder l'autre groupe moun comme moun kon pêcheur avec vendeurs avec moun ça pour ça yo ça mettre en place ba yo aussi because ou sa majorité c'est moun ça pas ka payer ici. Bon, là il vient pour crime moi parler de crime en petit moment qui passé pour ça avion c'est plus mauvais crime dans nous en Saint-Lucie c'est moun ka tuer moun avec mon Josephine Dou tous les l'année en record 9. Bon, UWP d'accord nous ni pour faire sécurité pays à mer avec nous pour baisser l'homme moun qui a trouvé quoi tuer en pays et pour faire ça on pour faire assurer yo do bout quantité ferme expressement gon qui quand en pays parce que c'est ici pas qu'à produire gon mais tout pas tout passer tout petit mal en le chimé ni en gon en la meilleur en poche avant yon ni un petit train qui on a l'autre c'est gon yo ka ready yo ka tuer en l'autre. So nous ka dit nous voulons do bout seconde ça entrer en pays. So you ka mettre en place ça, you ka créer border control avec ça kay police, immigration, customs, douane tout ces moun ça là avec ministre agriculture kay travailler ensemble pour faire assurer yo contrôler ça qui ka entrer en pays. So police marin kay ni cannot bâti cannot yo be ça ni ka monter descendre pour faire assurer l'autre quand notre bagay comme ça pas quand tout petit tout mais c'est pas ça entrer immigration et tout ces bagay c'est équipement yo besoin pour détecter ces bagay ça là aussi bien pour aider en cause ça là yo kay vier établi K9 unit là K9 unit là c'était ces chiens ces police là technique à aider yo fait travail yo parce que ces chiens ça été entraîné pour ça prendre l'ordre si la ni en gun en partie si la ni drogue si la ni l'argent. So ou supposé tout le monde connaît l'histoire Tyson non côté qui c'était un chien ça avec chien tout fait quoi tuer personne pas savent qui menait ça fait mais yo kay vie établi K9 unit là pas seulement pour la douane mais aussi bien à ce airport avec pour police qui ka monter descendre chimé là yo ka sorti motocar yo ka sorti kay moun bagay comme ça yo ka service chien ça parce que ces chiens ça ni capacité moun pani côté ça détecter bagay gon drogue avec l'homme l'argent. Dernièrement moi parler à sous ça c'est septembre là avec ça moi trouvé bien important avec ça c'est pour tout Saint-Lucien sécurité c'est pour tout Saint-Lucien aussi mais ça en particulier moi quoi c'est bien important ça c'est NHI National Health Insurance un insurance national qui a bénéfice tout Saint-Lucien. So tout Saint-Lucien qui a ni insurance pour santé. So ça veut dire si vous voulez pour un docteur, on pas ni pour bail comme mal tête ou pas pour embêter quand ou catcher les côtes ou joindre l'argent, insurance ou couvrir ça. Si on pour faire l'opération encore, on pas ni pour catcher ou pas ni pour bail comme mal tête, insurance n'a payer jusqu'à $75,000 pour chaque monde gagne $75,000 pour couvrir si yo besoin là yo va faire l'opération. Bon ça a été en go chay en les épaules en chay moun en cette ici parce que comme ça maladie qui a détruit en chay famille parce que de là ou pas faire ou pas tirer pour situation ça là ou pas faire plan pour situation ça là mais maladie ça arrive n'importe monde n'importe là avec ou ça santé cher avec de là tout l'argent ou te mettre à sous côté tout ça ou ni de les moun juste vous vendre propriétaire yo pour point cas santé yo mais avec insurance ça là ça ka alivier situation ça là avec fait bagay en chay primaire by tout Saint-Lucien tout citoyen pays. Bon moi voulais juste dire en bas sur ça Saint-Lucia Libre Party a recognisé ça qui est un bon plan. Bon ça moi voulais dire là c'est qui opposition que gouvernement un bon plan c'est un bon plan souvent un bon plan qui kay en l'enterrer avec bénéfice peuple pays aussi besoin embrasser mais yo ka critiquer avec yo ka venir avec l'habitude yo venir avec propagande avec mensonge yo ka de côté gouvernement Saint-Lucie ka $75,000 by chaque monde mais c'est si autres comprendre manière insurance ka travail c'est pas qu'on ka travail c'est pas chaque monde qui a $75,000 chaque monde couvert pour $75,000 si yo besoin bon un exemple police ni insurance. Là ni appli pour peut-être en 1300 police en pays Saint-Lucie. Ces police là fait négociation avec le gouvernement coûter situation yo bagay comme ça. Gouvernement supposé payer en l'homme l'argent pour oui si yo rapport avec la vie. Mais en négociation, discussion, ils ont décidé, si vous payez l'argent ça, vous allez mettre un insurance en place by police plutôt. Insurance là c'est si un police mort pendant il engagé en fait travail li. Parce que ça pour travail police risquable est possible pour ça fait. Famille police ça là qui joindre $300,000. Si police la mort encore par cause naturelle, famille qui joindre $100,000. Si police là ni pour aller docteur ben bail comme ça, insurance là qui couvert dépenses là pour police là. So, moi vle dou c'est police là moi dou là ni appli pour en 1300 police, c'est police là qui a payé $75 par mois pour couvrir insurance là. Bon quand me dit qui manière ça ça fait si yon mort, ma famille gagne $300 millions. Pas $300,000. Question moi demande là. Est-ce tous les jours qu'il y a dans la police comme qui souvent mon kaitan ça qu'a fait. Ça pas fait tous les jours. So si ça fait on dit l'autre l'année ça fait tout l'année là tout le monde a payé pour ça car aller pour l'homme l'argent ça là pour payer pour ça. Même manière. Si nous n'y plus monde toujours car des citoyens qui en payent. Si nous tout citoyen payent caille en insurance là gagne en 100,000 monde qui gagne insurance. Bon, en 100,000 moun. Là, on regarde un moun comme André Paul, qui garde un bouc, qui a un gym, qui a exercise, qui a mangé bien, bagaille comme ça. Monsieur peut-être pas même aller docteur des fois par l'année. Peut-être il a fait un check-up lui, et qui est alright, tout bail bon. Peut-être André servi par $1,000. OK? Un bouc comme moi, peut-être qu'il a servi 15,000. OK? Un moun qui peut-être qu'il a servi 75,000. Mais c'est jeune moun qui fit, qui en plus. C'est moun ça pas quand même ouais docteur Gigi ouais. So c'est moun ça peut-être pas servi dessous. Bon quand il combien moun qui a mettre ensemble et à dans chaque moun ça pas qu'à servir en rien pour contribution yo qu'a fait. So la gagne assez l'argent. Insurance la gagne assez l'argent. C'est qu'on a insurance qui travaille. So le moun ça qui vient ici mais c'est bêtise, il connaît mais ça. C'est un nèg jouer qui a essayé jouer en les cerveau et qui non. Mais nous tous savons qu'il y a une insurance qui travaille, manière garder là c'est pas comme ça qui travaille. Il veut faire moun quoi côté qui en insurance chaque monde qui joine $75,000 ou quand on joine $75,000 là si vous besoin $75,000 joine c'est pas tout le monde qui a besoin. OK, majorité monde pas qui besoin. So c'est qu'on a insurance qui travaille, c'est même qu'on motocar là. Si motocar write off on y a un bel motocar comme ça André qui peut-être en coûter en haut $100,000. André pas payer $100,000 pour insurance. Mais il y a un motocar qui bali peut-être dommage là coûter $50,000. Il y a un qui bali. Mais même manière, il pas faire pièce jai pas faire rien. Il paye peut-être on dit $10,000 pour l'année. Il pas gagner des souvenirs. L'argent ça les moins fait accident moi même l'argent ça aller pour payer. So c'est qu'on a insurance qui travaille et c'est quoi pour nous comprendre. Nous pas ni pour essayer qu'il y ait monde et jouer à souligner un monde parce que nous voulons faire gain politique. Si bah la bon dit bon avec moi ça bon ça gagne en bénéfice toute Saint-Lucien qui a réussi pour ça. So
un moment monsieur Monjoud c'est monde là qui a parlé pour gouvernement. Moi attends yo ka dit la pani insurance company qui kay insure moun qui a vie. So comment y plan ça kay marché pour moun qui a 80 90.
OK, insurance qui travaille.
Par exemple,
insurance qui travaille à son système WIS. Bon, si insurance ni ensemble moun yo pas pour dire pas kay insure moun qui javie. Yo kay fait premium na plus haut pour ces moun ça puis André moins plus en WIS servir plus l'argent parce un jeune monde because plus vieux ou venez plus ou gagner problème avec santé ou. Bon que moi juste pour un petit moment à présent parce que c'est guest là moi de parler d'hier ces jeunes monde yo arrivé à présent bienvenue yo quitter yo point place yo avec nous kay introduce yo à dans un petit moment mais moi continuer à sous discussion avec nous aller pour ces questions là. So André moi expliquer. So, insurance, par exemple, moi toujours dans accident, André. Ça pas veut dire massa en insurance, mais il peut passer où? Parce que André, qui drive pour 100 ans, et qu'on peut-être pas jamais faire un claim. So, plus de temps où était qu'à drive, pas faire claim. Insurance, ou premium, ou descendre. Ça m'a rappelé au passé. Parce que ça pas mène, je pas engagement. Mais en cas ça là, peut-être ça c'est conditions qui est côté moun, qui est conditions qu'on on est pressure, on est pisadou, on est peut-être qu'il nous paye un petit peu plus. Oh, là, regardez l'homme, c'est mon. C'est mon cause de jeune moun ça qui juste entré là, ma rien, que c'est mon ça bagarre cause vous voulez peste docteur peste qui va venir taler. C'est mon ça en bonne santé. Si il pas un accident ba quoi, ou pas venir ka aller servir insurance yo, ba quoi. Si là ni assez di yo ça still quitter ba nous parce yo kay couvert pour moi. Vous comprenez? Est-ce qu'on a insurance qui travaille c'est asou wis l'homme wis. Il pas tellement en go wis. Si on est en dit 5,000 citoyens qui avancent en l'âge et qu'on est 20,000 jeunes moun. C'est jeunes moun qui couvert ça. So c'est moun qui a try venir avec ces arguments ça là. Yo parce que mandou ba André, ça pas nek bay di bonne tête nous just ka wete parler di ou. C'est bagay nous a commencé discuter et nous a engagé insurance company. Bon montant Moussa ka di yo ka payer en haut $5,000 pour chaque policy bagay comme ça. Ça pas vrai. Pour y a moins de bon moi pas parler ba information à ton négociation niveau vieux commencer avec tout bagay. Ben dernier moi changer le montant cabinet. Yon se fois aller de discuter ça bon pas moi qui lead en laisse ça so moi juste cadeau ça moi changer. Moi quoi été appris pour en 1000 et check comme ça pour par moun pour chaque moun. Bon, c'est gouvernement pas pour hen tout l'argent ça là. Gouvernement qui paye pour moun qui pas à travail, moun qui avance en l'âge qui passe à travail, moun qui infirme qui passe à travail, et moun qui pauvre, OK, qui pas ni en manière pour ça payer. Moi pour André qui a travail qui paye, nous kay payer premium nous. Et moi si vous êtes d'accord pour payer premium, nous regarder bénéfice là vous kay joindre pour l'argent vous kay payer. So c'est comme ça nous ka financer. So les autres venir c'est impossible, il pas impossible. Ils ont pas qui bon pour se payer pour payer mais on a réalisé un bon plan UWP venir applaudir UWP pour ça et accepter ça parce que les autres en opposition ça va pas dire pas bénéfice et ici en insurance là aussi. So si bon dit bon même manière on dit Marina pas bon, Rodney Bay pas bon, Tunnel là pas bon, airport là fait pas bon, indépendance pas bon. Rien qui bon pour payer pas bon pour autres. Bon, on dit bout de ça. OK, c'est pas faire opposition parce que c'est l'autre parti qui vient avec plan. Bon, moi vais changer à présent André. Let me welcome my two guests, two young people of the United Workers Party. I will start with the lady first. I have Amy to my immediate right, who is from the constituency of Babono, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And we have Jeshron, who I ought to know. He's from the constituency of Grosile. And Jeshron is also the president of the United Workers Party Youth Arm and a former president of the National Youth Council. And they are here, ladies and gentlemen, to speak, among other things, mainly on the upcoming youth rally that will be taking place on Sunday in Mico South, in Beauchamp, at a place called Utopia Gardens. Utopia Gardens in Beauchamp, in Mico South. So, before we get into this, talking about the rally on the Sunday, let me welcome both of you. Sheshron, that's not your first time here, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not. But, Amy, that is your first time here?
Yes, it is.
Okay, welcome to Meet the Opposition. And like you young people like to say to me, it should be meet the government in waiting.
And that's true.
All right. So we are happy to have you here today, and we're hoping that we'll have a very enlightening, fruitful discussion. As I just spoke about the 7 SOS policies of the United Workers Party, what the older ones in the party like myself refer to as the 7 from heaven. You know, you all call it the 7 SOS policies, that is the 7 policies to save our St. Lucia. I went through it in Creole, but you all can understand both Creole and English, and in any case you all are familiar with what those are. I spoke of the gas prices, and that You don't have a car, Amy?
Yes, I do.
You have a car, Jeshron?
Of course.
So you all that directly benefiting from it. And that is not to say that it's only people with cars. Because when the price of gas goes down, it affects and impacts many other commodities, including bread, including the cost of transportation. So even if you don't have a vehicle, you benefit from it. Well, the levy impacts everybody when we remove the 2.5 levy.
Spider, just to add quickly, I had a conversation recently with a young lady.
Just turn the mic towards you so I can make sure our
and she was telling me that, you know, she doesn't drive, you know, she doesn't live far from where she works, so the gas prices don't affect her. So I think it's important for us to let the citizens understand how gas prices affects everything,
everybody and everything we do.
And like I said to her, I'm sure you take bus. And with high gas prices, very soon the drivers may require another increase in price as it pertains to bus fares. So, you know, it's very important for us to recognize that it affects all of us. It affects the transportation of the goods that go to the shops and to the supermarkets that we purchase. And if that cost of transportation goes up, then it affects the cost of the goods that you pay for at these you know, outlets, services, etc. So, you know, we need to really recognize the importance of the cost of fuel and how it impacts our lives. It affects us all around.
It does.
Okay, so it's interesting and important because we have to clarify those things, because the opposition, our opposition, the St. Lucia Labour Party, recognizing the impact, the positive impact these things will have, they try to throw cold water on it by, you know, trying to play on the people's ignorance and feeding them with that nonsense when they know better and so on. But, okay, the one I want to come to now, I'll skip the dredging fee that doesn't put into you. You live in Babonneau, you live in Gros Village, Jeshron, and you'll benefit from the John Compton Dam in Roseau, so you'll have to pay the dredging fee. And I'm sure you'll have no problem with that, because if you want your water supply, you must pay for it. Free tuition for Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. Let me hear your comments on that, because I don't plan to go back to school. At least not Sir Arthur Lewis.
So, Spider, I think it's an excellent initiative and well-timed. It is something that has been whispered amongst, you know.
Jeshron, sorry to interrupt you, but you're speaking in a very low tone, and sometimes my listeners complain that they're not hearing clearly, so, you know.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I don't want to tell you have to shout, because there are people all in Canada and US listening to
right.
you, but speak up a little.
Yeah, so
they can hear you.
I was just saying that the initiative is well-timed, and many persons have been, you know, wondering what's next for Sir Arthur Lewis. How do we make the school more accessible to a larger number of young St. Lucians who come out from the secondary schools? And I think, you know, this initiative really opens the doors for every young St. Lucian. Once you're able to put your mind to it and you're able to gain access to the school, you're accepted, you had the grades to get in, then you've played your part, and the government is now playing, the United Workers' Party, once elected, will play their part to ensure that you have a fair chance at receiving tertiary education.
Any of you went to Sir Arthur Lewis Community College?
Yes, I did. That's
oh, okay. All right. So you know firsthand what it is in terms of costs, right?
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Border control. The UWP plans to strengthen our borders with a marine police, with customs having better equipment like scanners and so on, and working in tandem with immigration and the quarantine unit of Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that we stem the flow of guns, illegal guns, drugs, and laundered money from coming into the country. They also said that they will bring back the K9 units at all our ports, airports and seaports, and for the police who are doing their patrols and so on. What are your views on that as young people?
I'm heard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's a great idea. I think when it comes, that in its own vibe, as we young people say, it will lessen on crime. Obviously, we need at that to get these guns off the streets. We need to have our young people interested in other things except violence. We need to try and lessen crime. I mean, at my age, I see so much young persons dying. Just now they don't have young men again because everybody dying. So I think that's a great thing.
They're not even married yet, right?
I'll be soon, but yes. So I think it's great. I think the police officers will appreciate that very greatly. I think it's a great strategy for them when it comes to helping them fighting crime, and I mean to save our St. Lucia at that, because drugs and everything taking over it at that point.
Okay. Now, I'm sure if I were to say to the two of you, what would be your number one among the 7 SOS, you'd probably tell me for Louis Community College tuition, or by reducing the price of gas, so I have more money in my pocket, removing the 2.5%, and so on. Maybe you'd say the border control too, because you're concerned that it is mostly young people like yourselves that are dying. Right. But there's another one that affects everybody, young and old, because unfortunately, while more old people are afflicted with diseases and so on, young people also get sick. There's the NHI, National Health Insurance. Do you see that as a good initiative that will also benefit young people?
Certainly, Spider. I think what has transpired as it pertains to access to quality healthcare in St. Lucia, it's time for great improvement in that area, and this insurance initiative is set and well poised to do just that. You walk around your community and you meet so many people who have these raffle sheets that they want you to fill out, or they have to always be doing barbecues and all sorts of things to raise funds just to have the access to health care that is required for them to live at least a comfortable life in their own country, Spider. And I think that is very alarming that it has remained that way for so long, and I'm quite excited about this initiative, as it will definitely address a lot of these issues. It will be available to all St. Lucians, and moving forward, we can feel a lot more comfortable knowing that we can access quality healthcare, and it's not just the affordability, but the program in itself is well poised to increase or improve on the services themselves that can be offered at our healthcare institutions.
Right. Now, very interesting. As I listen to you, you talk about raffle, you talk about raising funds and so on. Just 2 weeks ago, we had the experience of a young man from Labon who was ill, severely ill, needed to undergo some operation, and did not have the resources, so the community decided to raise funds. While they were waiting for those funds to be raised, the gentleman died. These are the kinds of things, whereas had the money been readily available, he could have had immediate access and he probably could have been alive. Now, that can happen to a young person as well, whether it's through an accident or any sudden illness and so on. Young people generally, as expected, will not have large savings and so on. So they would certainly benefit from the National Health Insurance. So that is also welcomed by the young people of this country. Now, talking about the young people of this country, I want to take a moment here to just give a shout out to 2 special young ladies. And they are twins, and they are celebrating their 21st birthday tomorrow, Thursday. And that is Zanina and Zeda James. Now, Janina may not be as well known, but Zeda is certainly a well-known name, should be a well-known name among young people, especially in St. Lucia, because this is a special young lady. She and her sister are celebrating their 21st birthday. Zeda is a West Indies player. She plays for the West Indies women's team, and so she's 21 today, but she's not on island. She's in a training camp in Antigua. They are going to be there until December, and her sister, of course, is more on the academic side. She is in Canada, where she's pursuing her studies. So I want to take this opportunity on Mid the Opposition, to wish them both a very happy birthday, and greetings that and well wishes are also coming from their mom and also their sister Anushka, and also the rest of the family. So enjoy yourselves, have a good time. I know you're training hard, Zeta, but take a moment to enjoy your special day. And I know you're studying hard, Zanina, but take a moment to enjoy your special day. So those special greetings from Mid the Opposition. That doesn't mean everybody else listening should think that we're going to become a request program, though. So back to, we're still on the subject of youth. I was just wishing two young people, 21-year-olds, happy birthday. And of course, they both are promising young people, one studying, one is an ambassador for St. Lucia, a member of the West Indies team. Now, the two of you are members of the United Workers' Party, and you came here with your United Workers' Party youth t-shirt, and what do you have written there? Fire what?
Fire Squad.
Fire Squad. You're part of the Fire Squad.
Yes.
So, and you're, people like yourselves make the flambeau light even brighter.
All right.
Definitely.
So, I want to ask you, any of you, why flambeau? There is the United Workers' Party, there's the St. Lucia Labour Party. You all chose the United Workers' Party. Any particular reason for that?
Okay, so you asked a very important question. Persons normally see me and ask me that question. Before I decided to actually join the United Workers' Party, I was apolitical. I did not believe in voting. I thought it was just, I was like a regular St. Lucian, an ignorant one at that. Both of them are the same. That's what everybody say. But when you look at the different policies of the two parties.
Just speak up a little so that my listeners can hear clearly.
Sorry. So when you look at the policies of both parties, I don't even see it as a competition, because there's nothing to compete. I don't see the other party as a party, honestly. I just see it as a bunch of people trying to better themselves, if I'm being honest. Whereas we have the United Workers' Party, who's doing everything they can to save little St. Lucia. Come on, guys, we have to be realistic with ourselves. I see people praising the alleged Prime Minister. About what though? Saying he's the best Prime Minister. I don't think that he is a Prime Minister. I think he's just, he have the title, but he hasn't owned up to it. I know, on the other hand, that Alan is literally the best. And hopefully, when they ring the bell, we as St. Lucians can prove them wrong, that PJP is not the guy and Uncle Shas is the guy. So, I don't have much to say, but
Jeshurun, what about you?
So as a young person, what sparked that interest in the politics?
Okay, so I'm trying to be a stalwart for Babono. I'm trying to allow Babono to be a better Babono. I don't want 20 years from now for Babono to remain the way it is, because currently we have no we don't even have a park in Babono. If you go to Babono, what really you would get is maybe they will tell you Maki, the wheel, and that kind of thing. Yeah, these things are historical stuff, but they have nothing to say, okay, when you come to Babono, this is what you'll enjoy about Babono. There's nothing. I want 20 years from now, when I have my children, for them to say, okay, let me take my children to the park in Babono. We don't even have a park. So I just think it's unfair. I think we in Babono, we need better. We in St. Lucia, we deserve better. With our Prime Minister, our political leader, I refer to him as our Prime Minister because that's the only person I actually know as a Prime Minister. So I believe he is the one to bring St. Lucia out. I believe that he's the one. It takes him and his team, his 16 other candidates, to make St. Lucia a better St. Lucia. And without that, I think St. Lucia will really die out. I'm hoping that's not our case, but...
So, as a young person, by the way, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay. What qualities do you look for in a leader? Because I heard you saying a while ago about our current Prime Minister.
Yes.
You're not so impressed.
All right. So when I look at qualities, I'm looking for somebody to say, okay, for example, on a crime situation, you could speak on a crime situation. You could address after something has happened, you come and address your country. You sympathize with persons and it, for example, all the crime stuff that has been coming out, I have not once yet see the Prime Minister of St. Lucia show any sympathy to the different families affected. I haven't seen he have a press address the nation. Nothing to say, okay, that I'm there and I'm hearing you guys, I'm here with you guys. Nothing to say that he supports us in any way, form, shape or size. So when you look at leader, you look at all these things. You look at somebody that's going to be there for you, whether it's good or bad. Not just the good and the bad. Yeah.
Okay, Jeshurun, let me hear what is your take.
So, Spider, for me as a young man, it was quite different than Emily. I always paid attention to government, governance, politics, elections. I remember from a very tender age, it is something I always followed very closely. And for me, what I recognize, even from very young, is that the amount of development you have in St. Lucia during the tenure of a United Workers' Party government far exceeds what you would get underneath the St. Lucia Labour Party. And I can even use Babono as an example because Emily was talking about Babono. I am sure if Emily has to mention any major development that has happened in Babono, it would have been done underneath the leadership or the direction of a United Workers' Party candidate or government.
That's true.
Okay.
The Labour Party has done nothing for Babono.
Literally.
Right? And that is the case in so many other constituencies and parts of the country. You know, we have so many schools on island. What percentage of them was built by the St. Lucia Labour Party? 5% or less?
I just want to comment on this, what you just said there. Whereas, while you're saying so, which is a fact, they will tell you they are responsible for universal secondary school education. Now, that, I think, is an insult to people's intelligence.
Right.
First of all, the United Workers' Party brought about universal primary school education. Because there was a place for every primary school child. The United Workers' Party built, by far, the majority of the secondary schools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they built a few in the time that completed the amount of spaces needed. And even then, they showed poor vision because they went ahead. They should have been able to see that they went and overbuilt, because the projection should have told them, with the declining population that we have, that very soon there would be no students to attend those schools. And here we are now closing down secondary schools because of the lack of vision.
And I think the Prime Minister still announced that he wanted to build some more.
Well, I don't know.
Recently.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. He doesn't have vision, and that's what I'm getting from what you all are saying as well.
Right.
He does not have the vision. So, but Emmy spoke about. I asked her about the party, but she spoke about the team and the leadership. I want to hear your take on the team, because there is a team of 17 that will be contesting under a leader, the leadership of Alan Michael Chasney. So let me hear your comments on the team and the leader.
Okay, so I think personally that we have a very, very good team put together. And for me, you always build a team with governance in mind. You don't just select persons randomly. And so our political leader and the party would have selected persons who can serve at the highest level as it pertains to the various ministries which will be required once we get into government. So for me, from that perspective, we've made an excellent choice with the team that has been put in place. And our political leader, Mr. Alan Chasney, is one who really, really, really cares about young people, and being able to interact with him on a daily basis. This is something, as a young man myself, that I have picked up on, and I'm very impressed by. He's a visionary. When you hear him speak about various policies, various aspects of development of our country, and how he's able to tie in one development with another in the various ministries, in the various sectors, then you can understand and truly have an appreciation of who he is and how he thinks and how his vision can actually work to develop our country moving forward.
Yeah, I just want to interrupt here to say something. I just got a message, since I was speaking on the NHI, and we were hearing that Honorable Moses Jean-Baptiste Musa was saying that, government has to pay $5,000 for everybody, for each person and so on. We're just trying to bluff people, putting people off. Like I said, those who are working will make their contribution. Those who are unable to, government will cover for them. But the proposed national health insurance premium that was being discussed was expected to cost about $1,200 per year, per annum, $1,200 a year, which is about $100 a month. That's not too good, but I mean, that is simple enough for me to work out. So, these are the things where they mislead people, So, I mean, it didn't come from the idea, didn't come from you all, but why you all don't adopt it? It's a good idea. But talking about good ideas, gentlemen, let's get back to things that more directly put into youth. The United Workers' Party had its programs in its time, which I know of. I don't know if you all are aware. But the current government has a program called the Youth Economy, and that is supposed to get specifically towards young people. I will say to you right now that I think it was a good initiative, but it has its shortcoming. What are your views on the youth economy? And by the way, before you continue, the United Workers' Party has said that they will continue it but strengthen it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was the point that I was coming to, Spider. The concept of the program is good as a foundation, but it needs to be developed further. It needs to be able to serve its purpose in a much better capacity. I think also that it's not the first time a program of the likes has been rolled out. This one was just given a new name, and the funds were redirected through a different channel. But that, this is something that has been done in the past, and I question things like, why not put the program underneath the St. Lucia Development Bank, for example,
which is where it was before.
Exactly. So why give it an entirely new name, put it underneath its own agency, and that sort of thing? Why was that exactly necessary?
Okay, well, let me answer the question, because they won't answer that question honestly. I'll tell you the truth. The United Workers' Party, I think it was YEP, on the United Workers' Party Youth Enterprise Project or program, something to that effect. And the money was channeled through the St. Lucia Development Bank, as you mentioned, Jeshron, which is an established financial institution with rules, regulations, and proper procedures. That makes for proper accounting, of the funds that are being used. The St. Lucia Labour Party came and took the program out of the St. Lucia Development Bank, renamed it, and formed an agency. The difference is that instead of being institutionalized in a manner where proper oversight can be done and so on, they put it in an agency where it is politicized, where they can do what they want with it. Okay, they can handpick people, disburse funds without any due diligence and without any questions asked. The question I want to ask you as young people is, they said that they have assisted over 1,000 young people. I give you all a challenge. You all are younger than me with more energy than I have. Go around St. Lucia, find out who those 1,000 people are, and come back to me and tell me if there are 200 of those people who are in business. That's my challenge to you. Which means
we will
they are squandering the resources of this country. They are squandering the resources of this country. I believe a youth enterprise or what they call it, youth economy, a program such as this to provide financial assistance to young people to start up businesses is necessary, it's important, but not in the manner in which it's being done. And besides, I want to say to the United Workers' Party, you all have a youth rally on Sunday. I don't get to be part of that because, I'm not of age yet. So I want you all to put it to your party that they have to increase that amount. $5,000 is no money to start any business and to sustain any business.
Exactly.
I want you to put it to your party that while they are committed to continuing the program and improving it, one of the improvements you all have to request that they put more money into it. Yes. So
isn't the 5,000 like a sort of starting point, or is 5,000 and that's it? You can't get any more assistance.
Well, I think they give 5,000 and you can get additional amount in loans. I'm not sure. I think that's what it is. But I know most of the people receive $5,000. Which business can you start with $5,000 and sustain it? Andre, if you have to go through the legal procedures that has to be undertaken to even start a business, by the time your lawyers finish, you don't have change from that 5,000, So that's it was not well thought of, not well planned. It's just a political gimmick, and that's what it is, because that's what the SLP does: dish out money and give handouts without actually assisting people to become sustainably independent and to be able to fend for themselves.
I know you usually tell it like it is. Yeah. So what do you think is going on? Do you think they just get the monies and go about their business?
They don't care what happens to the monies.
Who doesn't care? Those who apply?
The government that is just dishing out taxpayers' dollars to people. And I'm saying to you, it's a good idea. The concept, like Sheshwan said, is good, but not in the manner in which it's being done. You don't just throw money out around like that. You're not helping the youth either, because that $5,000 don't last them very long. It's gone. They have no business. They're back to square one. What you should be doing is there ought to be the mentorship program, the apprenticeship program, the training, the hand-holding, and so on. Andre, you're good at conducting programs and everything like that. That doesn't mean you're a businessman, So you have to, they train you, okay, how to run a business. Okay? The administration of the business, the management, the accounting, the marketing, all of those things are part of a business.
So that's not included in the youth economy?
They don't have any real serious training program going on to ensure the success of the business.
Or hand-holding.
I don't think they follow up with them either. I think after they get the money, that's just it.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. So you can imagine what other young people do with that money. You understand what I'm saying?
Carnival costumes and all that.
So, I mean, and, when they're not giving to their supporters, they'll give to someone who is a politician's son. And then they go and blast him on social media, saying, that they give opposition politician son, Now, I can speak about that, Andre, because I know of that firsthand. You understand what I'm saying? And then Philip Pierre will come and cry about people talk about his daughter. Richard Frederick will come and cry about his children. There's a double standards and the hypocrisy of those people. But anyway, let's get back to the youth. These people are on their way out. We don't spend much time on them.
Right.
So let's talk about how the role that you all are going to play in the new government to come. Now, do you see the United Workers' Party as a party that embraces youth, not into talk? Because I can sit and tell you the youth is our future. What are you going to say, Andre? The youth is our future and leaders of tomorrow and all that kind of thing. I know the story. I can say that, but that means nothing. If you do not actually demonstrate that the youth are going to be engaged meaningfully.
Yeah,
Do you see the UWP as a party that is embracing and that is giving you all a say and a role?
So, Spider, I've had the opportunity to serve in the United Workers' Party whilst in government and whilst in opposition. And the same level of youth interest and focus has been provided throughout both of those times. The leaders of the party are very youth-oriented, very focused on young persons. They are always inquiring about what next can we do, what are the limitations, what are the issues, how can we address them. Young people are given the opportunity to contribute at the highest levels and to have their voice heard. And I think for a political organization that is, very encouraging, that sort of approach and that sort of interest in youth can be seen, can be felt throughout the levels.
I mean, do you see the UWP as a young lady? Do you see the UWP as a party where the gender concerns, particular for young women, will be addressed and given due consideration?
I do. I think there are some things on some points that we can work on as a party. I mean, we're not perfect, which is expected. They're very supportive as a party when it comes to the youth, but we just need to try to bring out the youth. That's the issue, really, because majority of the young persons that actually support the United Workers' Parties are public servants, and they fear being victimized.
Okay, but I have a talk of victimization. From your perspective, is it real?
Of course it's real. It's the realest thing possible, especially in St. Lucia.
I see.
Yeah.
We have a young member of our party whose job was recently made redundant when the current government recognized his affiliation, without calling any names. But these are real situations happening daily with citizens in this country. And we know of persons who receive help from the government, and then the help is hinged on the fact that they must support, they must attend X event, they must do whatsoever it is, and I feel like that's really unfair.
Well, I'm going to say now, that is in fact being practiced with the home caregivers in that program. They actually say to them that they have to attend rallies and so on if they were to keep their jobs.
Yeah, but that's not fair. I don't think
you can use state resources to promote and push your partisan interests and your partisan politics. That is wrong, and that has been happening in a blatant way with the St. Lucia Labour Party, and we have to take a stand to stop that. And I want to say to young people, do not fear victimization. If we all sit back because we are afraid of victimization, we will be victimized. But if we all take a stand against victimization, they cannot victimize you. And remember, you have the power in your hands. You can deal with those who try to victimize you when the time comes, that is at the polls.
And an additional concern, Spider, again, growing up as a young man, as a society, I noticed how much emphasis was placed on trying our best to do away with racism, for us to try to work together as one society, as one people living together and with one mind towards developing our country, and for a political organization to come in and push a racism agenda at this stage in attempt to gain some political mileage, Spider, is very, very concerning. And I think any young person right now who pays close attention to this should be alarmed at what is going on, and should really take a step back and look at the St. Lucia Labour Party and just question what exactly is going on.
Yeah, well, I fully agree with you. I mean, when growing up, it was a race issue didn't really exist in St. Lucia. It was about whether you come from country or castries. We got past that. And you would have thought, well, when it comes to race relations, we had a very good situation here in St. Lucia, whether you're of Indian descent, whether you're of European, North American, Caucasian, or African, we all coexisted here without any problem. All of a sudden, the St. Lucia Labour Party has decided to push the race issue and to try to divide people along racial lines. Already you all come with the color division, and now you're going to push a racial line, and they even talk about nationality as well.
Yes.
A citizen of St. Lucia is a citizen of St. Lucia. Whether you're white, blue, black, or yellow, you are a citizen of St. Lucia and ought to be treated accordingly. It's so much so, we embrace the diversity in our country to the extent that our flag reflects the diversity. Because when I learned about our national flag, I was told that the white represent the white race, and the black represent the black people in this country.
Exactly.
Okay, so we all are supposed to be under one flag. And it is a shame and a disgrace. And in particular, you have Philip J. Pierre, the Prime Minister of the country, encouraging that. And the chief proponent of that is Richard Frederick. Okay? And because of the hatred for Alan Chasney. Now, let me just show you the hypocrisy in all of that. You have Philip J. Pierre, who is the Prime Minister, who was deputy to Kenny Anthony for years. Okay, he had no problem with Kenny Anthony. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not perpetuating the race issue, but I'm just showing you the hypocrisy of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Alan Chasney is in fact a mulatto because he has a black parent and a white parent. So was Dr. Kenny Anthony. He is a mulatto as well. He has a white parent and a black parent. The Obama that you all praise, first black president of the United States, he too is a mulatto. We don't have a problem with Bob Marley, who is a mulatto. We don't have a problem with Dr. Anthony, and I'm not suggesting that we should. Obama or anybody. I heard Ernest is a mulatto too, I'm not sure. And we don't have a problem with any of those people, but you have a problem with Alan Chasney. That's hypocrisy at the highest level. You understand what I'm saying? I happen to have family who are married into the white race, which makes the mixed children my relatives. I don't discriminate against them. I don't love them any less than I love those who are Indian mix or African or whatever, what have you. It ought to be based on your character, your personality, your integrity, and so on. That's what makes the person. Right. And so I'm happy that you all are taking note of those things, condemning it, and as young people will not perpetuate that kind of thing here in this country. But back to your National Youth Rally on Sunday. I understand on the agenda there will be some policies, youth policies, advocated by the party. I know you all are not going to divulge that now.
Oh, no spider.
So
leaving the surprises for Sunday.
For Sunday.
If we say it now, they might do the same thing on Sunday.
You know. But I will be there to find out firsthand for myself. But you all are insiders. You all have a little idea without letting the cat out of the bag. I mean, are you all happy? Are you all satisfied that the policies that the party is embracing as youth, and I know the youth policies came from you, the youth, you know, are you all happy that, you know, the policies that you all want to see advanced and promoted in the next government as is being represented by the UWP?
So, Spider, unlike the approach of the Labour Party, I always believe that hearing from the people is important. So, as a youth we would have executed a survey amongst young people nationally to get some feedback. And the majority of the major points and concerns raised by those young people will be addressed by the policies that this United Workers' Party will be putting in place once we get into government. And I'm very excited about that. I think when young people really pay attention and listen to some of what we will have to say on Sunday, that they will realize what I'm saying is indeed a fact. And so I want to encourage young persons out there to come on board. We have our various motorcades which will be ending at Utopia Gardens, where we'll be having our rally, and our rally is named Clock It. They understand the phrase very well, and we will be having a very, very fun afternoon. It will not just be speakers and policies, but we have a lineup of artists who will be performing, artists and DJs, and it's going to be a vibe, Spider. It's really going to be a vibe. The numbers so far are extremely encouraging. The young people are coming out, and we hope to have a very strong showing on Sunday.
Yes, so let me let you know, ladies and gentlemen, there will be no Sunday Live coming Sunday. The Sunday Live will be replaced by the Youth Rally, and it will be streamed live so you can follow. And I promise you, it's not old heads like myself you'll be hearing there. You'll be hearing from the youth themselves. Of course, you'll hear from the leadership of the party, sure. But you'll be hearing from the youth themselves. So, and it'll be interesting to know what is in store for young people in this country. In other words, what is in store for the future of our country. And so tune in on Sunday. It will be, you know, it'll be a revelation in itself.
Epic.
What time is it starting?
It starts from...
The rally starts at 3 p.m.
At 3 p.m, okay. And just let me say that the UWP, and I must give the UWP a plug here. Like I said, it's not just lip service. We had a young man, Joshua Harrow, who was in the Senate. And let me take this opportunity to congratulate two newly appointed senators who would be having their first sitting today. And that is Tommy Descat, who is the endorsed candidate for Castries South, and Elisha Norbert, who is the endorsed candidate for Miku North. Two young people. So you see, the United Workers' Party do not just only have young people in its fold, but they are actually holding prominent positions in the party. You have a number of candidates that are actually young people. You have Rush Clark, you have Elisha Norbert, you have Tommy Descat, you know. And you have some that are not so young, but a lot younger than I am. People like Stephen Favrier. You have Lady Lee, and those candidates that, you have a good mix, a good balance, and youth, I am happy to say, are directly represented in the mix there. So you're going to have a cabinet with young people sitting in that cabinet. And I'm sure in the Senate, you will see when UWP forms the government, they will have youth representation there as well. And I'm happy to say, Emmy, we also have a gender balance because there are 3 female candidates in the lineup.
I'm proud of that.
Yeah. Do you plan to get involved directly? I mean, you being here now means you're involved in politics. But when I say get involved in elective politics, become a candidate or anything like that, do you have that on your agenda right now?
Well, I am currently the branch secretary, the Barbados branch secretary, which, it holds a lot of responsibility. Maybe in the next 10 years, right? Ask me that question in the next 10 years.
Okay.
And I'll give you a positive answer. I'm not saying no, but hopefully one day I'll get there.
I'll get a recording of this program so that in the next 10 years I can say, do you remember?
You remember me asking you that question?
That's right, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So, as young people, apart from the fact that we have elections coming up, quote unquote, soon,
Yes.
what do you all do to keep yourselves busy in the party? And what is the aim of the youth, this youth arm? What is the main aim of the youth arm? And what is it that you do to help change, the course of young people in terms of their decisions and choices, that sort of thing?
So as a youth, we do several things, and for sure one of our missions is to be able to train quality young leaders who can serve both in the party and in their individual communities. We are about to roll out the United Youth Leadership Training Academy, which is a more robust version of the program which already exists, and we expect to have many young persons participating in that initiative. We're going to touch on so many different areas to be able to allow those young people to be more excellent leaders in their various walks of life, and some of what they learn can even assist them in the world of work, in their careers, in their career development, and that sort of thing. So that is one of the main focus of our youth arm. We also engage young people meaningfully. We try to execute sporting activities for our young people, and young people, the social life is very important, so that's something that we focus on as well. We ensure that we have sufficient social activities, because once you're able to meaningfully continue to engage young people, and there's something to do, there's something to be engaged in, then you sort of keep them away from spaces where they get involved in activities that are detrimental to themselves, whether it's crime or drugs or whatnot. So we try to keep a lot of our young people as engaged as possible.
Engaged how?
Well, we have a lot of different activities and programs that are rolled out throughout the length of the islands, both social and developmental. So, for example, one of the things we want to roll out very soon is a program where we're going to develop our chess players, just as an example. We noticed that worldwide it's a very recognized sport, if you want to look at it like that, but it's something that we hope to be able to develop and nurture amongst our young people. We just had a river lime recently. We had a boat ride some time ago. We have our games night events as social activities. So, it's just continuous engagement and also their personal development. Babuno just hosted a youth career day symposium, which was very successful. The young people came out, they learned how to write a CV, how to sell themselves at an interview. When you get a job, what is required of you? How do I keep this job? What qualities are required of me as a young person in the workplace? So a lot of those things are being looked at and focused on by our youth.
Okay, and so you talk about, are you also a member of the women's arm, Emmy? Or you just
he doesn't qualify as yet?
I do. I'm not in the national, no, but in my constituency, I am.
Okay.
I'm in the group. We have a lot of stuff when we do the masses, etc. I participate. I'm more or less on the executive side, but I try my best. I do everything I'm supposed to do. I go to the masses. I do different activities with them.
I see.
Soon I'll be on the national team. Don't you worry.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that.
The focus is towards the youth now because I'm younger. My age is closer to the youth than to a woman, if you understand. So
okay, so let me put you all on the spot. Young people, there are lots of good that come from young people, but we tend to focus on the negatives, and we say crime is perpetrated predominantly by young people, especially young men, and so on. But there are some young people doing good things, yourselves involved. On the other side as well, you have some young people involved. For example, in the St. Lucia Labour Party, you have Jeremiah Norbert, who is a young man, who is a minister of government. You have in Grozile, Kenson Kazimi. I think he still borders on youth, and so on. Now you see the advent of Lisa and those people. So on the other side too, they have embraced some youth. So far, Jeremiah Norbert and Kenson Kazimi have actually gotten an opportunity. I want you as young people yourselves to pass judgment and tell me, what did you all see? Are you all happy with what you all saw? Are you all satisfied with how they represented your cohort, your demographic in terms of as young people? Are you satisfied that they have given a good account of themselves that represented youth well?
So, Spider, very early on, I questioned the capabilities of Jeremiah Norbert, for example, because his prime minister did not even see it fit to give him a ministry from the get-go. However, in the latter days, when pressure was applied to the government, I noticed a ministry was sort of created. I think it's Ministry for Persons living with disabilities and
Ministry of Crime Prevention.
Ministry of Crime Prevention.
Yeah.
So the first thing I question myself, if you have a Minister of National Security, how is that different from crime prevention? So what exactly is being done? And I question whether or not the Labour Party thinks that as citizens we are intelligent, because what's that? What's happening?
Job for the young man,
right? So all right, okay, no problem. So he's given that ministry. Where is the office for this ministry? What has been done by that ministry? What has been its achievements? I don't see anything that has come out of. I felt like that was done in the moment to quiet St. Lucians who were, expressing their concern over important issues. And
most importantly, would you say that crime has diminished since the advent of that ministry?
I think it's gotten worse since that advent, Spider. So, really, I don't see what has been done.
He says it's soft power. That's what he said. I asked him that question.
It's what?
Soft power. In other words, more preventive measures.
What are the preventive measures?
I guess working with people at Bodiley, etc., the Boys Training Center, that sort of thing.
They are not the ones doing the crime on the outside.
Well, I mean, remember, they're supposed to be going back into the community.
No, but his job is crime prevention, Andre.
Crime happening
Well,
outside.
So crime continue to happen. For that matter, it has escalated since the advent of this gentleman. You have a national security minister who has presided over record after record. These people take us for fools in this country. You see, Andre, you assess yourself on what you deliver, What have they delivered? Worsening crime condition in this country? That's what they have delivered. And that's what we have to judge them on. And of course, if the situation can get worse, despite your best effort, but let us see what your best effort is, and tell us what you'll do to address the crime situation, and let us know if you know why. There's no plan, first of all, because the Minister of National Security is not a police. Okay? So there's no plan for national security. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, you give the police cars, you give the police bulletproof vests, you give the police water skis. I mean, really? You know, I mean, come with tangible things. Like the United Workers' Party, in opposition, presented some recommendations to him, and he said he threw it in the bin. The United Workers' Party, in opposition, is saying to you, upon assuming office, here is one of the things we're going to do, border control. Because they know, among other things, they know that murder is a primary concern of ours. Andre, if I steal your headphone, when I leave here, I go put one in my pocket and I go with it. If you cannot catch me, do the detective work to get your thing, you can buy another one. When you kill a person, that is irreversible, that is, final. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to try to minimize that crime in particular as much as possible. We're going to have the CCTV cameras that we began putting around. We're going to, put measures in place to both not only prevent, but to solve crime and to deter people from committing crime.
So as young people, what do you think the government can do now? Or if, the United Workers' Party were to become the next government, what will you do to prevent crime?
But Andre, I told you already.
No, I'm asking the young people as young people, because you're saying that they're not doing anything or very little. So, what plans do you have?
Well,
or what ideas do you have?
The first thing we will do, Andre, is appoint a minister for national security. This current government, forgot to appoint a minister for national security.
No, but I know you're probably saying that facetiously, but they actually did.
Yes.
No, there was no minister of national security when they announced the cabinet.
They forgot to. So I mean, that just shows firsthand, the approach. But we've come out and we've expressed, several initiatives and things that can be done to alleviate the crime situation. And protecting our borders, which is one of the SOS plans, is of top priority. There's no factory on the island producing guns or ammunition, and which is what is being used by a lot of the crime, being used to execute a lot of the crime. So we need to clamp down on the importation of a lot of these ammunition and guns, and our border control is going to help in that regard. Our government has also expressed that, there are so many other things that can be done as it pertains to assisting young people with their management of conflict resolution and so many of those other things that put them in the state of mind that contribute to a lot of these crimes. It's really important for us to realize that the young people and some of those who are not so young, a lot of the crime stems from street justice because they're involved in the dealing of drugs and other things where you cannot report to the police that this person stole your drugs or this person took away your firearm and that sort of thing. So there are many other aspects to it that has to be dealt with, from a more social level. But I think this government clearly lacks any vision, any approach to try to address any of those issues.
And the United Workers' Party has to bear in mind too that you cannot have the legitimacy and authority to fight crime if you have in your midst criminals. And that is important. And I say so with no reservation, and that is a serious consideration that I want the UWP to take into account. You cannot legitimately and authoritatively fight crime if you have criminals in your midst. Okay? So, I wouldn't call names, Andreas. You starting to sweat already.
No, I was praying.
So, gentlemen, I don't know if we should take some calls in a while so that we can hear from our viewers and listeners. But again, I understand that some of the young candidates will be addressing the gathering. There, I hear you will have some entertainment as well.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so I'm not saying that's what I'm coming there for, but I'll be there.
Be coming there.
I will certainly invite everyone to come, because I think it's important for the young people in particular to hear, and even if you're not a member of the UWP, come and hear what it is that the United Workers' Party has in store for youth, so that when you make your decision between the two parties, you can determine what and choose what's best for you. And that is what it should be about, what is best for you. Because, I think that on the United Workers' Party's team, on that side, you get a vision that is more sound and developmental, that is transformative, as opposed to the transactional policies you see on the side of the Labour Party. They'll give you a bonus for Christmas and they'll this and that. Those are the kind of things, give you handouts, try to, bribe you into voting for them. Yeah. But are these things sustainable? Will next Christmas, after they win the election, will you get a bonus? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So you're better off having policies that are sustainable, that you can become self-sufficient and independent, as opposed to the handout thing. Because even the caregivers that they talk about, they're going to make them permanent, which, by the way, the UWP supports. That's a good move in the right direction, but it's the way they go about it. It's a political gimmick again. They use it for partisan politics. Even the ceremony that was held, that is a ceremony, a governmental ceremony. There was actual SLP campaigning being done there about who should vote against who, prevent people from never being in government and all that kind of thing. And the Prime Minister was present, the Minister of Social Services was present, and other government officials were present. The executive director of SSDF was present, and they allowed that kind of atmosphere, and so on. That is wrong. That is an affront in a democracy for a government to do things like that. You cannot use taxpayers' money, the country's state resources, to promote your partisan politics. But what we will do...
By the way, has United Workers' Party hierarchy written to the government about this particular matter?
I don't know if they have. I'll find out. I said I would, but I don't know if they have. But what has to be done, I think the UWP has a better approach. UWP is saying that, look, people who have had contracts, several contracts, some people there for over 7 years, okay, they have been put on probation. Now, if you're genuine about making the people permanent, why put them on 3 months probation? And
I asked that question.
What
and
was
the response was,
curious.
This is standard practice.
Where?
What?
Where? Andre, you accepted that answer?
No,
where?
That's the response I got.
Only in the Labour Party, this is standard practice. Nowhere in the world. Because if you are newly appointed, you go through a probation period. As a matter of fact, our Labour Code that was initiated by the St. Lucia Labour Party says that if you have served several contracts, you automatically ought to be made permanent. So they are contradicting themselves directly, and whoever said it to you, I don't even want to know, and I don't care to know who. Whoever said it to you is a liar. That is not standard practice, nowhere in the world. Okay? Because you have been in the job, you have had your contract renewed, and so on.
7 years, that's a lot.
And you're going to tell me now you're going to put me on probation? That is a political move to give them the latitude to fire who they want, because there's a clause saying that they reserve the right to dismiss you. Okay? They reserve that right to terminate your employment. So,
but sorry, isn't that again something that every employer should be concerned about? If you're not working up to standard, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing,
if you're not
you have to understand that you can't remain employed.
Andre, it is standard that if you're not performing, you can be dismissed. Mm-hmm. But you cannot just be dismissed just because they reserve that right just to dismiss you. And that is what the letter says.
Reasons for dismissal should be clearly stated.
Clearly stated. They cannot just dismiss you. But the letter says, and you sign when you sign that letter, that you agree that they can just dismiss you. Okay? Now, no insult to the people or putting them down. A lot of those people probably don't even know what they signed. You understand what I'm saying? But they're up in the air, labor. These are people not in your best interest. They're just bluffing you and taking advantage of your ignorance. So that is why you have to begin to analyze and think for yourself and not allow yourself to be duped. in that manner.
That probation may very well be a chain around their neck to hold them accountable for the next election.
But that's what it is.
Hold them hostage.
That's what it is.
You know.
And you know, Andre, you and I don't know when is the next election. We can speculate, but the only Prime Minister is the only one. Well, he's the one who makes the decision, and whoever he tells would probably know. But that is what makes me believe that election is imminent, very soon.
What makes you believe that?
The fact that they put that three-month clause.
Oh.
So when the election is, I believe, I'm saying this sincerely.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So after the election, Andre, they can dismiss all who they want to dismiss. Sure. So, you know what I mean?
So if the United Workers' Party is elected to office in the next elections, what will you do about that particular situation? How would you remedy that?
We make them permanent and remove that clause. Okay? You make it standard. That I come here to work, Andre, I'm not performing, I'm always delinquent or whatever the case is, I'm not up to scratch. They go through the procedure that they do in HR. You write to me, whatever you do, you give me a warning, you bring me before whatever, a hearing and so on, and you eventually terminate me. That's what's going to be done. That is what is standard. Okay? That is what is standard. But we're not just going to, because let me just say to you, I have said it before and I'm going to repeat it. When I became sports minister, the majority of the workers at the stadium, Darren Sammy Stadium, are from Kaimaji. And those who know the politics of Grosley know Kaimaji is predominantly Labour. So the majority of them there were Labour supporters. They were shaking in their pants when I became sports minister because they were, on loose arrangements there and so on. I had them to become unionized so that a minister couldn't just come and just terminate their services just so for no reason. You understand what I'm saying? Most of them are still there. You'll not hear about those things, you understand? But you'll hear the propaganda about I fired nice workers and so on, which I never did. Just like the Labour Party used to do. When the nice workers' contract come to an end, those who are interested would reapply and they would decide who they're employing or not. And what happens is every constituency submit their names and so on. I am not the one who submitted them to come and talk about I fired. The contract came to an end. As a matter of fact, the stipulation for the program by the Labour Party was that a new court would be engaged, after the end of the contract. So, but let me just say about this, because they came out with some propaganda that the UWP, that I said the UWP will terminate the program. I had to call Newspin to clarify that. Let me clarify it here. As a matter of fact...
Terminate which program?
The caregivers program. As a matter of fact, the United Workers' Party leadership has stated that the caregivers program is an important program, but it is underserved. So they are going to expand the program because there are many people who need that service who are not getting it right now. So they're going to increase the number of caregivers to provide for those people. That is what is going to happen under the UWP. So just to debunk their lies and propaganda, and so on. But I'm back to your young
Do you
people.
plan to take any calls today?
Pardon?
It's already 15 minutes to 11. Okay, can I give the numbers?
Yes, you may.
All right. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. Again, the fixed line 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. You have somebody on the WhatsApp platform.
Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to Meet the Opposition. Contribution.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Yes. I am a young man from Central Castries, and I joined the United Workers' Party when I listened to Guy Joseph. I joined it before, but what had really made me call is that when I heard Guy Joseph said young people will be obtaining their land, in other words, they're going to give it to you at a good rate, maybe $8 a square foot, crown lands. Maybe $8 a square foot, you pay off your land. After a while, you can take that same land, take a loan, maybe go to school, get education, buy a truck, do something. Because you see, most of us, especially in the inner city, we're born without any inheritance or anything like that. And we have a housing crisis in our country where young people like myself want to go out and rent their own apartment, but a single bedroom apartment in St. Lucia.
Unfortunately, we lost him. Let me just say one thing, before I go any further. I want to remind the young people of St. Lucia, please go out and vote. It is very important that you become part of the process and that you exercise that franchise that was fought so hard for you to benefit from. Go out and vote. And remember, contrary to what the Labour Party is making people believe, I understand on the ground, is that nobody will know where you vote unless you ask someone to vote for you. It is secret ballot. You can go out there and vote. So as a matter of fact, when they come with the money, okay, to buy your vote, that how you're going to pay them back for that insult is to take the money and vote against them, vote them out. And they will say to you, one thing, they will not know where you vote. They cannot know where you vote because it's secret ballot. So I just wanted to make that point clearly. And the young person who just spoke there made a valid point.
He's back on the line. Do you want to take the call?
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah. Go ahead, caller, welcome back.
Yeah, the rent right now is for a single bedroom apartment is $1,800 a month, $1,500 a month, and that's about 60% of your salary. So when I heard the United Workers Party said that they're going to actually help young people to get their land, and that gave me a thing where that inspired me. And one more thing I want to say about, I listened to the Prime Minister talk about Alan Shastney. Bonnie, father sent him to school and he used his father money. I want to say this categorically clear. Any father will have the best interest for their son or their daughter. Just like Philip JP had the best interest for his daughter, she's working at CIP, getting $6,000 a month. I bet he paid school for her to get the best schooling and the best qualifications to get that job to be gaining $6,000 a month. So in other words, what I'm trying to tell you is that it seems to me that every time a Labour Party, somebody is doing well, we know where Alan Shastney money is coming from. We know what job he's working. We know what job his father did. And every time somebody is doing well, those guys try to make it look like doing well is a bad thing. So I want to ask, where did they get their money from? Because we never know. I never know what Philip JP was before, a prime minister or whatever he was. But my point is, when a father will have the best interest for their children, so tell Philip JP and his administration, stop that kind of thing he's doing, because his daughter is getting $6,000 a month on taxpayers' money at CIP. And he have his daughter best interest for her. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I don't want to comment on that one. I suspect, Guy, you putting out information that was supposed to come out on Sunday. I'll not do it too, you know.
Yeah,
but all I can say to you, caller, is that you're on the right track. But since Guy can say that, I can say it's not $8, it's $5 a square foot. Anyway, if you want to know more, come to Deriso. I'm not Deriso, Beauchamp.
On Sunday.
Yeah, at Utopia Garden on Sunday. But we have another caller?
Yes, we do.
Good morning, caller. Welcome to Meet the Opposition. Go ahead and make your contribution, please.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you loud and clear.
Hey, this is Marcella Steed, independent candidate for Castries North. I have a quick question. Can I go ahead?
Go ahead, make your contribution.
The border control. I keep hearing I'm hearing all of your candidates talking about border control. Can your party provide the document that we will be engaging in with the UK government so we, the citizens, can read it and we don't just trust that y'all are going to do the right thing and give us border control? Because I looked at the border control document that the British is pushing the UK. We need more information, and to have us in a country going into another election without information. And like I said, it's not that I don't trust the UWP. Actually, I don't. I don't trust either political party. I'll be honest. But I would like the document that y'all are trying to engage us on. All we hearing is border control. There's a 85-page document on the British website, because the British have a Freedom of Information Act. We don't. We never gazetted ours. So we would like the people of Castries North, and you know what we're dealing with in Castries North. We have a very feckless gentleman. He hasn't done anything. He doesn't tell us anything. We would like the document you guys are pushing or trying to push on us. We heard Better Steve talking about it. We want a copy of that document before we can make a decision. That's my question.
Okay. And just one correction, and we're not trying to push any document on anybody. We have a policy that we are developing and so on. But you're right, the process began while we were in government, and what I will do is speak to first of all, the leader of the party, Honorable Alan Chasney, and Herman Gill Francis, who was then the Minister of National Security, to find out from them whether they have access to that document and whether it could be made public. In terms of, I do not know, what is the nature of the content, whether it is something that can be made, because this is national security we're talking. It may very well be information that they might not want to divulge to the public, but whatever it is that is contained therein that can be divulged, I will ask that it be done. And, you raise a very important point about freedom of information. That might be something that the UWP might want to consider as well, because I find it too difficult, just like you, to get information about what our leaders are doing on our behalf in this country. But in terms of trust, my friend, I can tell you for sure, if there is one transparent political party in this country, it is the UWP.
Yeah.
Sometimes our supporters accuse us of giving too much information. That is how we are, But for sure, there is a plan, and I am happy to know that you are mindful of it and you are taking cognizance of it, and so on. At least you cannot even say that for the other side, and so on. And unfortunately, I know you came from the other side because you are now not running for them because of the on the hand on the table arrangement that they made with that so-called independent candidate Stephenson King. But you being the bona fide independent Labour candidate, since you were supposed to be the Labour candidate that should have run against King, you being the bona fide independent Labour candidate, I am happy to see that you are actually openly recognizing that your party, your government, did nothing. But I will do one thing here.
Can I make a quick statement?
Yeah, go ahead.
I thank you for padding my resume, the bona fide Labour candidate. But in all fairness, all the people of Castries North is asking for, we need information. We have gone down the road, whether it's your party or the Labour Party, we have made this mistake one too many times. We would like a fair chance of reading the information, discussing it, because the border control, right? The UK has a border control policy. The stuff that is national security, they took it out and it's on their website. You can read it. It's
I was saying there may be information that they might want to take out. But Mr. Steve, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I see Herman Gill Francis is trying to call me. He was the national security minister. He's in a far better position, and though I was in cabinet, he's in a far better position than I am to comment on that. Andre, is there any way we can call him to put him on? Because he's trying to call me, but I do not know that we can get him on.
Just ask him to call the WhatsApp platform.
Okay.
He'll get through. Okay, because calls are coming in all over the place. So in the meantime,
can you call the WhatsApp platform? Can you call the WhatsApp platform?
Or the fixed line.
Or the fixed line?
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for a lot of respect for the great referee and former policeman, but I still want to read the document. I want to understand it, what you all are suggesting that we sign on to, because there is, from what I saw on the British website.
Hold on, I still have a
What we've seen on the British website, and I'll make it available on my Facebook page and my website. There's a lot of questions that we cannot just sign another agreement without breaking this agreement down properly. Even if you guys are in opposition, that's something you all are running on. All of your candidates are talking about it. We need to see the document, and we need to have the document available in terms of the national security issues.
Well, for your information, it's not a fait accompli. When we get into government, we will have to appoint, first of all, a national security minister and to engage in the process of putting it in place. One of the things I can tell you is that we are an accountable party. We will provide the information. Like I said to you, sometimes what our party is being accused of is that we provide too much information. So much so that your former party, the SLP, does even copy some of it sometimes. Unfortunately, where those things that really matter when it comes to security, they dump in the garbage bin. But they have copied our ideas and so on. So we are open when it comes to that, and I can assure you that you'll get more details as it unfolds.
As a senior person in the administration, the UWP administration, would you be willing to sign on to the Freedom of Information Act? Make sure it gets gazetted.
Let me go further.
Would you be an advocate for that? Would you join me in being an advocate for that?
No, let me go further than that. And to say to you, I am going to put my party on the spot as one of the things that they promise when they get into government is to make information accessible and available.
No, Spider. No, let's do a little better than that, because
what better can I do?
The United Workers' Party in 2009 was the party that when the OAS handed the legislation to Stephenson King was Prime Minister, they took the legislation, they passed it, they went into the House, they debated it, and it never got gazetted under Stephenson King. The same Stephenson King that's running and it was the United Workers' Party. So the citizens, the young people that are sitting at your desk there, we cannot. It's not that we do not believe. We have to go by the resume, and the resume of the United Workers' Party is that they had the opportunity to pass the Freedom of Information Act, and it was never gazetted.
Okay, let's not get into a back and forth. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. Stephenson is definitely not going to be the Prime Minister when the UWP wins the election. Alan Chasney will be, and I will. I'm going on a limb to say to you that I believe Alan Chasney will acquiesce to your requests of making information more accessible to the public. I am personally going to put that on his agenda.
We want a gazetted act. We don't want to take Alan's word for it. We don't want to take Pierre's word for it.
I mean, what does the man want me to do? Chief,
we want it gazetted.
Chief, you're talking to... okay, let's be reasonable now, Steele.
Yeah.
Okay, you are asking that the UWP, honor the Freedom of Information Act that we should have in place. I'm saying to you, I am not a candidate, okay? But as a member of the UWP, I'm saying to you, I am going to bring the matter up to the leadership of the party with the hope that they are going to embrace it and make a statement on it. Are you satisfied I'm doing what I can do in this position now?
I know you're a very influential fella. I'm not very satisfied, but I will take that for now.
Okay, that's much better. That's much better than the Labour Party will ever do. That's the party you would belong to. You were trying to run for.
Thank you, Mr. Steed. Okay,
but Mr. Steed,
let's take
thanks
a
a lot.
A final call. It was really almost 11.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning. Welcome to Meet the Opposition.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, go ahead and make your contribution, please.
I am sitting here and I'm listening to you as I have always done, and I'm wondering, really, do you really want the UWP party to win, or you're driving them further into oblivion? Because the questions I have, the reason I'm telling you that, you are trying.
You're telling me, I thought you were asking me.
No. Listen, I'm telling you, I'm a Labour supporter of the bat, so you know I'm a Labour supporter.
Obviously, from the way you speak, you must be.
Okay, no, but here is the thing, Spider. You're not listening. That's a problem. You're not listening, Spider. When it comes to, and I'm not dumb, I'm not stupid. I've gone to school. I know right from wrong. I have never ever heard anything when it comes to racism coming off or emanating from the UWP platform that has come out on the Labour platform. Everything that has become with racism. It was Alan Chasney who spoke about the massa. That is where it started. It was Peter Josie who said the cool YII. It was Ring the Bell that said I see Messimia non blanc. It was the guy from Labrie who stood on the Chozel, who stood on the platform and spoke about non blanc. This is where the racism emanated from, Spider. And I know we have to pander to our base and let the people know, but we must be truthful. We must be truthful.
Have you asked your question?
About it.
Have you asked your question, sir? We don't have much time. Have you asked your question?
My question is, what is the UWP's plan for the people of St. Lucia?
I enunciated. Well, if you listen, you'll hear the answer, my friend. I enunciated 7 of the policies that the UWP intend to implement for the benefit of the people of St. Lucia at the top of the program. Albeit, I don't know if you understand Creole, but I did in Creole, but I've done it before in English as well. And so, now you talk about people not listening, but you're speaking while I'm speaking. I listen to you.
Go ahead.
While you're speaking. No, you don't tell me go ahead. You be quiet while I speak. You know, you're behaving as if it's you that are running this program. You're not. As a matter of fact, I will answer your question, and then we'll give the young people an opportunity to close. I was saying that I have...
Okay, caller, thank you very much.
Just like the UWP enunciated some of the policies. And before that, at the convention, they announced a few. On Sunday, I am being told by the young people that some of the youth policies that they worked with the party to put in place will be announced. So when you say we have no policies, or you asking for the policies to be announced, it clearly shows you are not listening. You are the one who is not listening. Okay? And I can quote for you many of, you talk about this supporter from here and that supporter and Peter Josie and so on. In my next program, I will have quotes for you from ministers of the St. Lucia Labour Party who are making racial statements. I will do that. Racial statements and statements of like in terms of people's nationality and all of those things. I will bring a few.
What he was saying is that is who started it. That's what he said.
Is what?
Who's the persons who started it?
Who started it?
Yes, those racial comments. That's what he was saying.
Okay, and he's wrong on that too. Okay, he's wrong on that too. Because for the last 10 years, Richard Frederick has been making racial comments. Okay, and he is now a sitting cabinet member of the St. Lucia Labour Party. So, you know, when you come with those things, I mean, I always say to you all, I know you all are giving talking points by the St. Lucia Labour Party to go out there and be mouthpieces for them. But analyze the information yourselves before you come with it, because you'll not pass by me with it when I know better. Anyway, we have to, you know, thank you, lady and gentlemen, for coming here today.
No problem, sorry.
And I'm hoping that you will have a great occasion in terms of your national youth rally on Sunday. But I will just give you all a few seconds each to just give your closing words.
Well, Spider, again, it's a pleasure to be here with you today and to be able to contribute to educating St. Lucia and the listeners. And I just want to continue to encourage our young people to remain positive. Come out on Sunday. There's a lot that will be shared with you at our rally, and it will be a time where you can really understand why young people like me support the United Workers' Party. Come out, let's spend some time together, and let's enjoy an afternoon of positive time spent, and let us work towards making a difference as young people.
Yes. Amy.
Okay, so Uncle Spider, Andre, we really want to thank you guys for bringing us on this show, Meet the Opposition, today. We're very grateful that we had a chance to explain to some of the young persons why this party is a party that was selected by us individually. We invite persons to not be scared of victimization again. I know a lot of you are saying, boy, I wish I could do the things that you do. I wish I could wear my shirts proudly, blah, blah, blah. Be not afraid. The United Workers' Party, we will be here soon enough. You guys don't have to fear victimization, because as a party, we've never victimized St. Lucia Labour Party supporters. So we urge you to come, make the effort. Even if you come in your ordinary clothes, but come out, bring a friend, bring a family member, bring somebody. Come on Sunday, have some fun, eat some good food, drink some, maybe a little soda, a little nice local juice. I don't want to advise you to drink alcohol, but you can have a beer too. You understand? But yeah, have some fun. Come on Sunday, guys. We welcome you on Sunday, okay?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the UWP have your back, the youth. That is the party for the future. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank you, Andre. And I want to thank all our listeners and our callers. Tune in next Thursday for another episode of Meet the Opposition. Sunday, it's a UWP Youth Rally in Utopia Gardens, Boshan.
Thank you, Leonard Spanimatut, and your two young guests. So this has been Meet the Opposition, heard and seen on Rev-Up St. Lucia every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So So join Leonard Spider-Montut next week Thursday for another Meet the Opposition. Well, this is the end of My Stint here on Rev-Up for today, Thursday, the 30th of October. Thanks for being with me on Wake Up and Live. We have Kina coming on next. She'll be with you until 3 this afternoon, 3 o'clock until 5. Zen the DJ. Then from 5 until 6, we have Powell Politic with Mary Polio. So do enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Have a nice day. So long.